Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining me tonight on this new night and earlier time. Appreciate you all coming. Go ahead and let me know you're on and let me know if you can hear me. I'm hoping I got everything hooked up properly. It's kind of scrambling at the last second here, because I forgot to print out the 24-hour stamp sale product list and show you. So go ahead and comment. Let me know you're here. Tonight we will be using the Scary Cute bundle. This is in the July to December mini catalog. And you will find it on page 56 here of that catalog. It's a very cute bundle. Comes with the stamp set and then the Scary Cute silhouette, or the Scary silhouette dies. Hello, Elaine. Haven't seen you on in a while. So good to see you. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Laura. All right. So I want to show you the Warm Welcome bundle. This is a bundle that you can get right now in the month of September. This is a preview of the January to June mini catalog for 2023. And you can get this right now, but only in the month of September. And then it's going to go back and not be available until January. Okay, so this is the stamp set that they have pre-released for the World Card Making Day. It'll be one of the bundles that they'll be using. And I want to show you, this is a quick card that I made today using that bundle. And I also used the Kindest Gnomes designer series paper with that. Storybook Gnomes is what that designer series paper is called. Okay, so I pulled that gnome out of there, cut it out with my dies, but this is the card that I made this afternoon to show you the possibilities for this Warm Welcome stamp set, which is available. Just in case you want to add that to your order for the stamp sale tomorrow. So let's see. Along with that stamp set, you can also get the cottage wreaths. We'll be using the cottage wreaths and cottage rose stamp and die bundles. Don't forget the Perfect Partners is still going on, but only through the end of September. And that's where you can get those dies that were added on stamps that are in the current catalogs, both the mini and the annual. So we've got all those. And you can buy either the dies, or you can, if you don't already have the stamp set, you can buy them in a bundle. These, it's our understanding that they won't be in any future publication. Okay, so I think that's all of the notifications I need to give you. Don't forget that 24-hour stamp sale is the 15th of September only, and that starts at 12:01 a.m. Mountain Time, which here on the West Coast, in the Pacific Northwest for us, is at actually 11:01 p.m. tonight, and that sale will last until 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow, or 10:59 Mountain Time here in the Pacific Northwest. All right, so get your wish list made, and of course, those are on sale while supplies last. So if they sell out of a stamp set that you're wanting before the end of the day, you won't be able to get it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our bundle. Now I'm going to be honest with you, when I first purchased this, I purchased just the stamp set. I thought, I don't need those dies. Oh, that was a big mistake. I had to buy the dies separate. Silly me, always get the bundle. I've had a lot of fun with this bundle. Okay, so let's move those out of the way for the moment. And we'll bring in our first project, which is a card project. And I'm going to show you a couple cards that we are not making tonight, but that I made in advance just to give you some ideas. So here's one of the cards, and this one uses some of the dies, and it also uses the glitter pack of washi tape. So I just took this piece of basic white. This is the Leaf Fall embossing folder. Let me make sure you can see that because my computer has not advanced. Okay, there we go. So we've got this. This is the Leaf Fall embossing folder, and I just took those glitter washi tapes, lined it up on the grid lines, put that down. I did a little bit of masking for this big moon, cut out the cat, put a little Daffodil Delight behind the eyes, and then cut out those bats and used a little bit of Wink of Stella. Pretty simple card, but oh so cute. And then this is another card I made. I had a bunch of these little scraps that were 1 by 1.5 inches from making a treat box, which I'll show you that treat box that I was making. And I had all these little pieces left over, and I thought, what am I going to do with those? So this is the layout that I came up with for that. So I hope you like that. And then on the inside, I put just the little trick-or-treaters and some Halloween happiness. All right, so that was a pretty simple card. All right, let me show you that treat box that I have made. And let me see if I can find the one that actually has the treats in it. So this is the treat box that I made using that designer series paper, which by the way is from Celebrate Everything. And this is the box. Has a little window. It's a little window box. I got this design from Brenda Quintana. And when you open it up, it has a shadow box feature on the inside. So you can put your treats in. And then when the treats are gone, you still have this little Halloween decoration left. And if you use M&Ms and you fill it with a few other things, then you get these little M&M creatures showing through the spooky trees. Pretty cool, huh? But that's where those little pieces came from. All right. Oh, I'm so glad you like those cards, Elaine. All right, so let's get down to the card that we're actually making tonight. This is a sketch that I got from Marissa Alvarez. So we're going to start with a piece of basic gray cardstock that is 5.5 by 8.5. And I have pre-scored the card front with the time-worn type, not scored it, pre-embossed the card front with the time-worn type 3D embossing folder. This is in the annual catalog. So that's going to be our card base. Let's go ahead and burnish that score line. Okay, so we've got that. Then we need a piece of the Gingham Cottage designer series paper. Okay, and this piece, oh, this is for the envelope. This is 2 1/4 by 6, and I'm going to put that on the envelope flap. Then I've pre-cut a piece of basic white using the die that is in the Scary Silhouettes, and that's this piece. So I've pre-cut that in basic white. I've also taken this piece, and then there is this tree die, and this tree die does not cut out on the edges. It only cuts out the center part. It won't completely cut. So I've taken this piece and I've laid it down on my table and I've lined it up like so. Taken some Post-it note tape, taped these two together so that they stay and will be as one. And then I ran that through and I got this piece right here. And then I've added some Winka Stella to the tree leaves. Okay. You're also going to need a piece of basic white, and you're going to take the stitched rectangle dies. And it's the third or the fourth. Nope, it's the third. No, it isn't. Hang on. I'm wrong. It's the third. It's the largest. Man, I can't tell my distance. I used the largest one of this set of the long skinny rectangles to cut a white piece. Okay. And then I've cut 5 pieces of designer series paper. I should have 5 pieces. I don't though. Okay, which one fell away? Went hiding somewhere. Okay, well, we'll get us a 5th one. Okay, so we need, this is from the Brights 6x6 designer series pack. And these are cut at 3/4 by 5, or yeah, 3/4 by 5 by 4.5. 3/4 by 4.5. And you need 5 of them. So I've got, it's my black ones that I'm missing. Let me grab that piece of paper. For some reason, it's not, they're not here. This is 4.5. Yes. That's not the right one, though. That's not actually the one I want. Okay, so this is the Cottage Designer Series paper. Where did I? Gingham Cottage. This is crazy. I had that cut. I'm sure of it. Who knows what I did with it in all my... Here's the piece we're looking for. Right here. So we'll get that. I'll put those away later. So I don't want to take up any more of your time. So we're going to cut a 3/4 inch strip. And we'll make that 4.5. And I actually want 2 of these. Okay, so there's my 2 pieces. All right. This piece of the crushed curry is from the Rustic Harvest. And then this is from Gingham Cottage. And then I told you this is from the 6x6. Okay. So we've got those pieces. So let's go ahead and get our stamping done. And for that, we're going to use our Stamparatus. I'm going to show you how I did this. I'm going to put my chamois whole cloth cleaner in here to make this stable over here. Man, I've already got a mess. Okay. So we've got that. And I've put my piece of white on my Stamparatus, and I actually put my piece down with some temporary adhesive so it won't move while I'm stamping. And then I'm going to show you how I put my stamps on here. I lined this up like this. So I'm going to put down my tree piece here. And I'm going to take the little boy holding the light. And I'm going to put him in here. But first I'm going to line up my bats, because this is the key here. Is to make sure your bats are not up in the tree where you can't see them. And then I'll slide this in here like so. And then I'll close the door on my Stamparatus. And then I can stamp both of them at once with my Memento Black. Right where I need them to be. And I'm using the Stamparatus because I want a very solid black. And you can see there that I did not get solid black on my guy. So I'm going to ink him up again. And I still can see a little bit of white. So I'm going to ink that up one more time. Okay, so I've got that. And while I'm here and I've got the Stamparatus and the ink out, I'm going to go ahead and put a second one in. I'm going to line this up. So we're going to need this for the next project. So I might as well do them both at the same time rather than getting the Stamparatus out to do this part again. Okay, so I'm just going to give that a quick clean. Then I'll pull this up at a 90-degree angle and put it back down. And I already have my Frankenstein here lined up. So I'm going to ink that up really well. And I'm going to stamp that down. Ink it up again. For some reason, Tuxedo, the Memento, does not give you a good solid black image the first time. So I prefer, if I've got a solid stamp like this, that I use this Stamparatus so that I can get a good solid black. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can always take your you can always stamp it, and then if it doesn't come out solid and you have a black Stampin' Blend, you can go ahead and fill it in with the black Stampin' Blend. Okay, so we've got those two pieces ready to go now. All right. So now we just need to get some bats stamped on here. And I'm going to wait until we get that down because I want my bats to go right in a certain spot. Okay, so we can get that out of the way. And then we're going to bring in some scratch paper. And some blending brushes. And we want our crushed curry, pumpkin pie, and gorgeous grape Let me find my gorgeous grape brush is right here. Okay, so we're going to use those 3 colors. We're going to do both of these at the same time to just save some time. So we're going to start with our gorgeous grape. And I'm going to put some on my brush, wipe off the beginning of it. Then I'm going to go along the top, third of this piece. And my trees, this is going to have to shine through my trees, so I want to make sure I've got some good coverage. Okay, and then I'm going to put the second one in here. And this is what you would want to do if you were mass producing. Okay, so I'm done with the purple. Now we're going to move on to our pumpkin pie. And I'm going to grab my pumpkin pie brush. And I'm going to go through the middle. And I'm going to overlap that purple. Okay. And I think that's dark enough. So then I'm going to switch just to save myself some time. Okay, done with the pumpkin. And then we're going to move to the crushed curry. Yep. Okay, and then I'm just going to blend that in with the orange. And do the same on this piece. I'm always starting off my page. Okay, now I've got those 2 pieces done and ready to go. And we can put away all but the gorgeous grape here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start putting our card together. Okay, so our Frankenstein is for our next project, so we can move that out of the way. We're going to add our frame here to our white piece. New glue bottle has a little problem there. Come on. Why do you not want to come out? You're new. Does anybody else have trouble with new glue bottles like I do? I much prefer a half full glue bottle. I always have a lot of trouble with the new ones wanting not to work. Put just a little bit in the bottom of these trees. I don't want to put anything in this section right here because I want that to be loose, and this has got a lot of glue on it. So I'm actually going to lay it down because I don't want that much glue squirting out on my piece on the top. And then I'm going to add this. And I found the easiest way to line this up is to tap the bottom and then make sure these corners, you get these with your fingers to make sure that those edges line up just fine. And then I'm just going to burnish the back. Okay, so I've got that. Let me set this aside until the glue dries. And I can scrape that off of there. Okay, so we've got this piece. Now we need this piece, and I need to get those bats on there. So, well, let's get this down and this down, and I can see where I need my bats. Okay, so we're going to put these kind of like this. Just gonna kind of evenly spread these out. And then when I adhere them, I'm going to adhere from the outside, the two outside pieces, and then the center piece, and then the other two. And I'm going to put 3 down and 2 up. Okay. Let's see if this liquid glue will work properly for me. Because I want to be able to slide these into place. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to go to the pumpkin pie piece. I'm going to line that up just about the way I have the other one. And it's okay if they aren't perfectly lined up top and bottom, doesn't matter. Then I'm going to take my crushed curry piece. And I'm going to try and center that in here. Before I really stick it down, I'll put these 2 pieces in so I can see if I need to go side to side. Actually, I think I'm going to use this piece on here. It'll look just a little bit different, but yet still hold that color. Using the reverse side, I'm going to put this up here a bit. Like so. And then we'll put the gorgeous grape one in. Okay. And again, it does not matter if you get them all at the same height. So you're just putting it down for a bit of background. Okay, now we're going to take this piece. We're going to put it over here a bit, like this, and this is going to go under here, like so. Actually, I want a little bit of that black over there showing. So I'm trying to get this so I can see all of the colors underneath. Put this on. And then put some bats in these 2 corners. Okay, so now that I know about where I need those, I'm going to take my Stamparatus and for this, just going to put this down right here. I'm going to put my bats right here in this corner. Close the lid. And ink those bats up. I actually found these little bats weren't too bad. And that actually looks good. Okay, so I'm going to live dangerously. I'm going to take that, I'll pull this out of here. Whoops. And then I'm going to ink this up and put my bats down here. And I'm happy with that. Okay. Let's go ahead and clean those off so I don't put something in them. Okay, so now we've got this piece and we are ready to assemble. Oh, no, we still have one more piece to stamp. Let's go ahead and put this on here. So we are just going to put a little bit of liquid glue down here. Put this on, making sure that we've got all those pieces showing at the bottom. Okay. And then we're going to get some Stampin' Dimensionals for this. Black ones are fine. And I'm going to put some of these on. Come on. We'll put this on here. Like so. Okay. And then we're going to take, we've got a piece, I've already pre-cut the die cut from the set. It's this little label piece, and it fits every one of the sentiments. So we're going to place this in here, and I've already lined up my sentiment, so I'm just going to lay that down there. Take my gorgeous scrape, and I want my grape to be nice and strong. So I'll do that. Get my take your pick tool because this is going to be fussy. Okay, and I'll set that aside for later. It's okay. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put just a little bit of adhesive, not quite to the end here. And I'm going to tuck this right up under those tree limbs so that it kind of emphasizes the H on happiness. Okay, and the last thing that we need to do with this is find my ribbon. I took a piece of the white seam binding ribbon, the crinkled white seam binding ribbon. I used my dark pumpkin pie Stampin' Blend, and I also used Wink of Stella on top of that. And so I did that ahead of time so that this would be all nice and dry, because when you put the Wink of Stella on there, you have to put it on both sides. And it takes a bit of time to dry. So I'm just going to tie a double bow here. using my bow jig. And this is just a piece of wood that has a couple of finish nails. And these two holes are 1 inch apart, and then these are 1/2 inch on either side. So if you have somebody handy, you can make one. And then we're going to add this with a glue dot. Right up here in the corner of our die cut. And then we'll trim our tails. And there is our card. Now for the inside, whoops, my thing came off there, I don't want to lose it. For the inside of this, I've taken and stamped the little girl fairy trick-or-treater. And I did that in the memento. Stamped the moon in crushed curry and the sentiment say boo and scary on in gorgeous grape. And I'm going to add this to the inside of our card. And the matching envelope has Dracula. Okay, so we've got that. All right, so there's our first project. Let me clean this mess up real quick because we're not going to need those again, because we already did that for the next card. Okay, or for the next project, which actually isn't a card at all. Okay, so let's get those out of the way. Bring these in, get these out of the way. All right, set that there. And now we're going to make our 3D project. Okay, and hopefully this won't take too long. So this is our project, and it opens to hold a little bit of candy. So we are going to start with a piece of basic gray cardstock. And this piece is, let me look, 3 5/8 by 8 1/2. Okay, so you can get 3 of these with a very thin, tiny piece of cardstock left over. You want to cut, so you need them 3 5/8 by 8 1/2. Okay, so we're going to start on the 3 5/8 inch side, and we're going to score this at 1 inch, and then we're going to flip it around, do a 180 and do 1 inch again. So we have 1 inch on either side. Then we're going to turn it to the 8 1/2 inch side, and we're going to score this at 1 3 3/4. And then flip it 180 and do 1 3 3/4. That makes the measurements easier to remember. And the thing with flipping it like that is it means that your ends, if your paper isn't cut perfect, because you went the same distance from each end, your box will be nice and square. Okay. So if it's a 1/16 of an inch off on one side or a 32nd of an inch, it won't matter. In other words, if you're not perfect, it works out good for you. Okay, so we're going to score all those lines. Okay. We take our scissors, and this is our template. So we're going to take and cut up on all the short score lines on the long side to the first intersecting line. I'm going to trim this off and diagonal cut that. And actually, I'm going to cut about half of that off. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So actually, I'm going to cut this first and then angle cut the edges. All right. Then we're going to snip up to the first score line, snip up to the first score line, making a tab. I'm going to cut out that score. Okay, move down here, cut up to the first one, and again, I'm going to cut part of that tab off, angle cut the two edges. Flip it over, cut again, trim that piece off, angle cut, angle cut. If you forget and you don't cut those, it won't really matter. You just need to make sure you make those angle cuts, because if you don't make those angle cuts, those will stick up above the top of your box. Okay, and you don't want that. The other thing I like to do is make sure that I've got a nice edge here and I don't have a bunch of excess, so that when I put this up, the top is not going to stick out over the sides, and you can see I have just a tiny little bit there. So I'm going to go ahead and even that up with my scissors just like that. I'm going to check this end to see if that is the case. It looks like I have a teeny tiny bit, so I'm going to trim that little tiny edge off. I want to make sure that's nice and flush. Okay. So there is my box, and it now looks like my template. Okay. The only thing I have left to do now is decide which is the top and which is the bottom. Okay. Doesn't matter which one I choose, but whichever one I choose, on the top of the box, I'm going to angle cut. So if I'm going to make this the top of my box, I'm going to take on this large section here and I'm just going to cut a little wedge, flip it over, and cut another wedge, and that will just help the box close a little bit nicer. Okay, now I need to remember that this is the top of my box. So these pieces, because this is the bottom of my box, I'm going to fold these two pieces in and these two pieces in, and that's going to form my box bottom. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take some liquid glue, and I'm going to start here at the back. And on the outside of the cardstock, I'm going to put some liquid glue. Okay. And then I'm going to fold that up and have my cut edge meet my corner score. I'm going to hold that for just 1 second. Make sure it gets a good adhesion. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Here I have a tiny bit sticking up for some reason, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove that. Okay. And then a little bit of glue on these front tabs. And I'm just going to spread that glue around with the tip of my glue bottle without squeezing, so that I don't have extra glue. Again, I'm lining my cut edge up with my corner score. Then I'm going to tuck this tab in and line the cut edge up with the corner score. Hold that for 1 second. And then I'm going to move to the top of my box, and I'm going to add some glue here on these tabs. And I'm on the outside on all of these tabs, the outside of the box. Okay. And then I'm going to glue this to the top to form the box top. Hold that for a second. Liquid glue holds really well, but it does not hold instantly. Now you could use tear and tape, or you could use Stampin' Seal Plus, or if you have some of the old fast fuse, that would work really well too. Okay, so I'm going to hold that for just a second. All right, now I'm going to set those aside to dry. And I'm going to bring back in my pieces. So now I've got 2 of the basic gray in that same die cut that I did with the white. And I've got that piece that we made earlier. Okay, now you could forego one of these basic grays if you choose, because this could be your box top. But if you do that, then your box top, when you open it, would be white on the back, and I didn't like that. So I'm actually going to glue these 2 pieces together, and then I'm going to add it to the gray. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue along the edge. And you want to make sure that you glue this fairly well, because this is going to get a lot of opening and closing. Okay. Okay, and again, I'm going to leave that same area that I left open before, because I'm going to tuck my sentiment in the same spot. So I'm going to add this to my white blended scenic piece here. Make sure I line that all up. Squish it into place. It's not cooperating, sliding very well. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to give that a good press. Okay. And then I'm going to add this to my gray piece. Okay. All right. Again, I'm going to stem that up. Make sure these corners are all in there nice and tight. Once I'm happy with it, I'm going to burnish that down. Okay. So now, this is the top of my box. And that's where I've cut those side tabs in, okay? So now I'm going to take my top piece, and I'm going to grab my box top, and I'm just going to put some liquid glue on the box top, because I've designed this box to fit this die cut perfectly. So I'm going to place this along the bottom. I'm going to stand it up, and I'm going to make sure that my box corners fit just inside on both the top and the bottom, because I've designed that so it'll just fit. Okay. All right. And then if you want, you can take your bone folder, burnish that down, close that box up, take your other gray piece, and again, we're going to put our glue on the box bottom. And take the outside of that, line it up again, stand it up on my table, make sure that my bottom's all even, corners are good, my top is all in there the way it's supposed to be, and then I'm going to burnish that down. Okay. Okay, and there, so that's the basics of our box. Now all we need to do is add a few little embellishments and this box will be done. So we've got our Halloween happiness again, and I thought I had one of those already stamped and ready to go, but apparently I can't find it again. Could have swore I had one stamped. Okay, so this time let's go ahead and clean this off with my chamois. I think I am going to use, oh no, I'm going to use the Gorgeous Grape again. Because, oh no, let's use pumpkin pie. We'll just throw this in here and grab our pumpkin pie ink pad. Make sure our sentiment is dry. Ink that up. And stamp that down. And I want one more nice dark inking, so I'm going to give that a little bit more. All right, there we go. Lift that out of there. I'm going to clean that off so it doesn't get on my piece. Okay, there we go. Close this up. All right, set that aside. And then we'll take and add this in here just like we did before. Put some adhesive on there, not quite to the edge. Stick this up here like so. Okay, and then you're going to want to take some basic white cardstock and take the black glitter washi tape. Black, not purple. Let me show you what I did. I'm sure I've got the piece right, yep, right here. Okay, we can save ourselves a little time. Okay, so you take a piece of basic white and just put 2 rows of the glitter washi tape, and then you're going to take those little bats from the die set and cut those out with your machine. And I've already done that to save us some time. So I've got, that'll give you some little glitter bats. Okay, so we're going to take our reverse tweezers here. I'm going to take a bat and grab a hold of him. And take some of the Tombow liquid glue that I've put into a little fine tip bottle I got from my friend Cynthia. And I'm going to put that on just the center of him. And I'm going to place this up here like so. Okay. Then I'm going to take a couple of the other bats I'm going to put them down right here. And here. Okay, and there's our box. All right, so what fits in here, you say? Okay, let's get those out of the way. I'm going to bring back in that, oop, I lost one of my bats, came right off, didn't he? He did not stick. Let's put him back on there. Okay. So we're going to put, I found some, I don't know if you guys remember Zot's candies, the fizzy candies. But I found a bag of those at Bi-Mart in the Halloween aisle. So I'm going to put, this will hold 3 of the Zots. Okay, so we've got 3 Zots in there. That's a good fit. So we've got that one. Why is it popping up? Should not be. Get in there. Okay, there we go. So that should be a nice tight fit. Okay, so we've got this one. I made this one with the little fairy. That one has Zots in it. Here is a Dracula, Love at First Bite. And in this one, I've got 4 Hershey's miniatures, or 3 Hershey's miniatures and a Hershey's nugget. Here's another one. Okay, this is the trio of trick-or-treaters, and I put 3 Hershey's nuggets in this one. Then here is the same boy carrying the lantern that we used on the card. And in here I've got 4 Dove dark chocolates. And finally we've got another Frankenstein. And this has 4 Bouchard chocolates. Okay. So we've got all of those. Those were really fun and quick to make. So let me bring back in our other project that we made tonight. We've got all these. All right. And then here is a couple more ideas. Not sure how much we can get in here. All right. So I hope you like the, oh, thank you, Robin. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Elaine. So glad you guys enjoyed that. And if you need some treat boxes, really these are pretty quick to make. So if you don't have that bundle and you're planning to order on the stamp sale tomorrow, it's a great time to add it to your cart and get that in. All right, everybody, I will see you back next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. This will be my new time because I have ballet card pool Monday nights, Tuesday nights, and Thursday nights. So this is pretty much the only night I have because Caitlin has dance team on Friday nights for football games. So that takes that out too. All right. Thanks for joining me. See you later. Good night.